Boker Tov, Yom Tov, Zarim Tovim, and Lila Tov. Good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at. This is Carrie. I'm just popping on here. This is going to be very quick today, just to give you some updates. I have a meeting scheduled with Brandon Dodd tomorrow at 10:30 a.m., and I will not be doing my Zoom class tomorrow. I need to take some time to rest. This was a whirlwind week. We traveled out of town just for overnight, but we crammed too many things into too short of amount of time. And frankly, my body needs to rest. So I am only actually going to be taking my Sabbath day to myself, except for the sharing time that I do with Brandon in the morning. I need to be able to spend some time to get my energy back. And just kind of regroup. So just know that I will not be having a Zoom session tomorrow. For those of you who are wanting to have that, I apologize that it's a last minute notice. I didn't actually have anything scheduled on the books for it. I didn't put anything out on it because I didn't really know how this week was going to go. Good morning, Lisa. So I won't be having that tomorrow, but you can catch me with Brandon Dodd tomorrow at 10:30 Pacific Standard Time, and which is 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, hey, Derek, good to see you. But what I did want to take a few minutes now that I got the announcements out of the way. Again, no Zoom meeting tomorrow, just the meeting with Brandon, so I can spend some time with my husband. And frankly, also it's just too hot. It's just too hot. And when I do a meeting, I can't have the air conditioning on, and it gets, we're 100-degree weather again, and it just gets too hot to be in that heat for usually 5 hours or 6 hours on Saturday when I'm sharing, and it's too hard on my body. So what I did want to share with you guys today is I always, if I go onto Facebook and I see somebody post something, generally if they bring up a scripture, the Spirit will say, why don't you go and look it up? So this is not, when I share stuff, this is not bringing correction to anybody. This is giving another additional side of information through the lenses of the excavation through Hebrew and Aramaic, and is by no means meaning correction to anyone. And again, it's just based upon the interpretation that I'm seeing for where I'm at with my sum total journey, and I am not telling you guys anything. So just wanted to share something with you this morning. Um, Brandon had mentioned something on one of his verses, or actually on a live stream that he did a few days ago, about vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. And I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to take a look at that scripture. Now, there's a whole lot more to be said in the reference to it in the New Testament, but I'm not going to take the time to this morning to go over that one. That will have to be for another live stream. And but I wanted to give the reference to the Old Testament of what was being shared. Again, Old Testament is more referring to the divine masculine, New Testament is the divine feminine. So what we're going to take a quick peek at, and I'm going to be moving through it relatively quickly. I don't want you to get lost in the letters, meaning if you don't know the letters yet and you don't know their symbols, then please just listen to your spirit. I would say just close your eyes and listen. Don't get hung up on all the letters and all of that, because it can get totally, good morning, Lou, it can get very distracting, and you're going to try to potentially take in too much information. So again, if you don't know the letters, just listen, close your eyes, don't even worry about me with the screen share. So I'm going to quickly go over this verse. So Deuteronomy 32:35. Let's take a quick peek and see what it's sharing with us. Give me just a moment here to pull it up so we can pop and look at it. Let's see here. Vengeance is mine. Okay, so I'm going to read to you the mechanical translation. So mechanical is mine, vengeance and recompense. In time shall slip their foot, for at hand the day of their calamity, and hasten the things to come upon them. Now, I generally don't even like to look at what is the English interpretation, because we're so used to the English interpretations that it can really shape and cause us to not see what we need to see. So if I could blank out this whole portion over here on this side, I would. But for ease of sharing, we need to just look at it. Don't look at it. Just look over here on this side where the Hebrew is, and I might bring up some of the Strong so that you can see where this is coming from. So the very first word is mine. And you notice that there is nothing over here on the Strong side. There is no Strong's numbers. There is nothing. It is a lamed yod. And that is a staff of authority, or the rod of authority that would be given to a shepherd, one who has been instructed, one who teaches, one who is compiled, put together, learned, has knowledge. And then the yod is a letter that means power. So this is the staff, the rod of authority that has been given power. And yod is connected to aleph. It's the power that is given us to seek and teach and become one. I've shared that in many other teachings. So if you're new to this, this may not make complete sense, but I'm speaking to those who've been hanging in with us for a while. So when it says is mine, right? Again, not trying to get hung up in this. This is speaking to those who have authority, that have been given the staff of authority and carry and have been given power, power for oneness. I want you to look at this right here. This is the word for vengeance, and it is in its static form. And what do I mean by that? There's been no added letters or deleted letters from the root base itself. So that means it's in static form, which means it's not in movement. It hasn't been activated. And because it hasn't been activated, what that is telling me is that this is one of those words that it is a possibility. It is potential. It's just not been activated. Why is that important? Because a teaching shepherd that has a rod of authority that has been given power does not seek vengeance. Now, one thing to note, that when you see a word that is very strong language and you see it translated as vengeance and you see the meaning as vengeance, and this one was specifically referring to vengeance by God by Samson, right? Well, when we take a look and go a little bit deeper in here and we look at the meaning of it, revenge from Nacham, to avenge and to take vengeance. Whenever we see something like that, I always look for the resolve, because if everything is about oneness, unity, then the word vengeance is not really lining up with that. So what's the resolve? Well, the spiritual path allow you to compress light while you're in chaos. And kufem is to make a stand. So the resolve to vengeance is take the spiritual path. Find the narrow path between the light and dark, compress light, and complete your journey in the waters of chaos. But that doesn't mean that you activate vengeance. The resolve is being able to stand as one who took the spiritual path. But yet even the word stand isn't activated, because that usually has a vav in it. So if you are going to seek vengeance and you're wanting to stand in it, that means your heart hasn't been pierced. Because when you're trying to seek vengeance or take vengeance or see vengeance mete out upon someone, you've totally skipped your heart and you're acting outside of it. Now look at the next word, recompense. Part of this word here, this is the word shalom, where we get the word shalom from. As a matter of fact, this is the gematria for shalom, peace. So why is that saying recompense? Well, it's also a word that means completion. But notice that this word has been activated. There is a vav in front of it. It is not in its static form that hasn't taken shape or form. It's full of potential, meaning you can do it. But if you have a staff of authority and a rod authority and you've been given power, you are going to seek peace. And this word in a root of it from shalom means to be completed, as in one who's completed their journey. And they are safe in mind, body, and estate, and they're friendly. So what does that have to do with vengeance? Absolutely nothing. Because one that has a staff of authority that has been given power is going to be one that connects to peace and completion. And they are going to be instructing that in time. Ein Tov right here is a word that means time, in time. To see and know the covenant. And the covenant is pertaining to fire. If you guys need to see what that is, take a look at my video that I posted either, I think it was a week ago or 2 weeks ago, regarding Bereshit, the first word in the sacred writings in Hebrew. And it's the covenant of fire. The fire was removed from us. And that is really the fire that is activated through our heart, that activates our Merkaba, our light body. And so this is instruction that comes through time, so that you can see and know the purpose of the covenant. Now, when I look at the word slip, this is interesting that if you heard this word, if you heard it, now it would sound exactly the same as the word for death. Not so much with the tav on the front, but the last few letters here, mut, is a word for death. But instead of a tav, it's a tet. So when we see about slipping of the foot, to totter, to shake, to be shaken, to be moved, overthrown, to dislodge, let fall, drop, to be greatly shaken, what is it saying here? If you are in Mother's teaching, if you have her mark of the covenant, you understand duality. You've comprehended it. You know light and dark. You know good and evil. But if you stay in Mother's teaching, and that is as far as you go, you are still going to be in the waters of chaos. And at your heart level, you are going to wrestle. The tet is the wrestle. So Mother's teaching is fantastic to wake you up to the system of duality. And that is the phrase that I've used. Oh, I'm not in Kansas anymore, right? When you begin to learn about the dark side and the different things. I'm not even going to go into those journeys because many people woke up last year. And many people woke up during 9/11 or after 9/11. It doesn't matter what the event is. What you learn is that it's important for you to treat others as you would like to be treated. But if you stay there, that means that you're still going to be in the waters of chaos. Because the open mem is mother's womb, and that is connected to the matrix, the womb matrix, racham. And you're connecting to your heart, but you're still going to wrestle. When we move into foot, this is talking about our walk. Why is that important? Well, because we're meant to be raised up to gather what is necessary to instruct us while we're in the waters of chaos. That is the whole thing about walking. And I love that the last three letters are Gimel. It's literally how you would spell. It's the gematria for it. It's not the same order, but it's how you spell this symbol right here. So this is really showing us Gam with the Lamed right in the middle of it. This means that Gam means to gather and assemble. Lamed on the inside of the word Gam would mean instruct your heart. So we already know that there is this trembling and shaking that is you're going to wrestle within your heart. You need to gather the instruction that is meant for you on the inside to raise you up from your poor and destitute place. And again, this is letting us know that one who has been given the rod of authority is a teaching shepherd of light that has been given power, has gone through all of this and comprehends all of this. They've seen the struggle, they've seen the wrestle, they've seen what it is like to be instructed in time and where they needed to get their instruction and how they walked because they grasped a hold of the power. That's what these two letters mean, to grasp power. And when we see at hand, this means to draw near for whatever reason. The power, and it's active. It's not in static form because the heart's been pierced. So they're grabbing a hold of the power because it is time. It is drawn near. The day has drawn near for those to have their heart pierced. Because why? Well, they compress light. And Rab means great. They have pierced their heart because they've grasped the power by compressing the light. On the inside, finding the line between the light and the dark, the very narrow path that few find. Because this was the power that they needed to connect to their heart while they're in the waters of chaos, so they could be in the waters above instead of the waters below. Now look at this. 4 more words, and then I'm going to go for the day. Calamity. This word is distress, burden, calamity, the burden of righteousness, calamity of a nation, disaster of wicked, and the day of calamity. But do you see what this word is? It's Adam. This is humanity. This is mankind. It has a yod on the inside, the yod dalet. I've highlighted the yod dalet because this is a word that means hand, and it means the work and deed of the hand. The power, means, and direction found by going through the door on the inside. And what I haven't highlighted to you is This is mother. It means mother. The Aleph Yod is the two letters that mean faith. So mother's job, if you have ever traced or seen our videos about where the word Aman comes from, that has mother in that word, and it's what you say when you say Amen, it means to be fostered and supported and nursed and raised up. And it has to do with belief, and it has to do with faithfulness. There is an element here that oneness gives you the power if you go through the door of the inward man. But make no mistake, this is the work indeed of your own hand. This isn't anybody else doing it for you. We have the word blood. So faith within the blood, one blood, Adam, because Aleph, Dalet, Mem, Adam, one blood, humanity, that we need to have faith within humanity, because if the power is given on the inside by their own work, this is beautiful because it's hastening the process, right? Chush. It's hastening the process to make haste. What makes haste when we grow up is when our heart is pierced on the inside. So the vav was removed on the inside of this word and put on the outside on mother. So it's saying if you want to hasten this, you want to have power on the inside of you, connect to mother, be teachable, stay in a humble position, don't elevate your head in pride, because you were separated from the fire. But by entering in through the door and staying humble and teachable, you are going to find life. And that consuming fire is going to deal with the lesser flesh in all the things that are to come. All the things that are come. Now, it's beautiful too, because this word, it means to be ready and prepared, to be skilled, prepared, stored up, and treasure. But it's the word Ein Dalet that has a tav in the middle of it and a tav on the suffix of it. Why is that so important? Well, because I shared with you in the beginning, right up here, that if you stay in mother's covenant only in her teaching, which is part of the waters of chaos, because you're in duality, you're going to continue to wrestle within your heart. But when you come to the point of Ein Dalet, which is also a word for time, in fact, it's the root of this word right here, right there. It's the root of that. And it also means a witness and a testimony. If you get on Facebook recently, I shared with you that the word for church means those who are witness of and testimony, that it had nothing to do with the building. It had to do with you as a person. It comes from a root word that means to be bedecked and adorned. Why is this so significant? When you have the Father's covenant, this is when you see the real you. This is when you get into your shadow and you bring it back home. You don't separate anymore. You are completely, you have the mark, sign, frequency, signature of the Father's teaching, which means that you are able to see your shadow. And every time your shadow comes up, you bring it back home into your heart, because that's where the wounds came from. And then when you receive the mark, because this tav was added on the inside, this is when you get the mark of creator, source, Abba, Aleph, Bet, Aleph. We're not talking about mother, father, Yod He Vav He. We are talking about origin, creator. This is when you fully have the covenant and knowing that you are one with the creator from the inside out. And this is going to instruct you while you are on the waters of chaos, so that you will now have meekness. And why do I say that? Well, take a look at this. Look at where this started. Notice there's nothing over on the Strongs, right? Right here. It's Lamed Yod. And when it ends, there's no Strong's number. But now we have Lamed Mem Vav. This is saying that the reason why you have the staff of authority and that you were given power through this whole process of everything that I just shared with you here is so that you can become a teaching shepherd that has a staff of authority, that was instructed, learned, put together, brought everything together, that incites, goads, pricks, urges others while they're in the waters of chaos, so that they too can connect. Now in meekness. And what is that? It's power under control. When you deal with your shadow, you are now in complete control over your being. You have really become your own ascended master because you are a master over self. And you stand in meekness, power under control, because even the waters of chaos shall not move you. Even in the waters of chaos, you will not seek vengeance. You will seek completion. You will want to bring healing and wholeness to the people because you are of Shem, Shin Mem, that has a lamed right in the middle of it. And this is a double lamed. This is two staff of authority, not a single staff, twin staffs of authority. Of the fire and of the water, those who have honor, authority, and character, even though they have a distinct mark of who they are. In this vessel, I am Carrie husband, but I am much more than that. You are much more than that. And these are those who walk through the fire and the water that found completion and the of authority. They're not bringing vengeance and recompense. They're allowing the instruction to happen to them in time so they can be marked with the covenant. Now, completely connected while they're in the waters of chaos, having meekness. I didn't see any of your questions or anything that you said, and it doesn't look like many of you commented because there's not many on right now, and that's fine. I don't need you to. I just wanted to bring that verse up because when we begin looking at interpretations and we can see it's very personal to you. So when I share these things with you, because it is a living word, this is what the language is speaking to me right now, what I need to see. And I am sharing my discovery with you. When you begin to dig out these languages, if it is calling to you, it is going to be exactly what you need to see in the moment you are, in the moment that you dig the verse out. In the moment. So it's revealing a lot to you about you, your personal journey, because you're going to only see what you can see based upon the foot that is standing upon the stone you are in at your now. But it is going to look and show you what your next step is. It never leaves you standing in a quandary, ever. It leads you on your journey. That's why I love seeking it every day. And understand that this is our daily manna. When we begin looking at it, I had a revelation yesterday as I was pondering things, and I really felt like the Spirit said, now hear me here. I am not knocking that which we've had, but the Bible in its current form is yesterday's manna. It's not today's manna. It was what was presented to us when that book was put together through the printing press and then given to everyone. But it's not. It's yesterday's manna. So if you wonder why you've been craving more, is because you were meant to go gather your fresh manna every day, not the old crusty breadcrumbs. Your fresh manna, your digging. I'm sharing with you this. I dug out this morning. This was my fresh manna for today that I'm sharing with you. It's like a banqueting table, and I'm bringing my dish to the table to go, here it is. Take a scoop of it. Enjoy it. But you're supposed to be doing the same thing. Bring your manna to the table. Let's all share it together. I'm encouraging you. I'm not shaming you. I'm not guilting you. I'm encouraging you. There is so much to partake of at the banqueting table. And I want to see what the Spirit's saying to you, because it's not about me. It's not about me at all. It's about all of us. So Derek, I see, can you look at people and see what they are marked with, Carrie? Oh, I don't know. Well, I do know. I know what that means to me. What does it mean to you? Do you think that you can see it? Do you think that you can hear it? Can you hear it in their words? What are they bringing to the table? Is it something that is teaching you, or are they declaring and telling you? Because I will say that there's a big difference when somebody says, this is such and such, and this is what it means. I'm working on this to not say that. I am sharing with you something that the Spirit revealed to me, but I am never going to say that this is exactly what it is. Why would I do that? Your eyes are going to see something different. So when you look upon someone else, And what you see in them is what you see in you. That's what I'm sharing. It's like the language. Whenever I look at the language, I see a reflection of me because it's a mirror. It bounces back at me what I'm seeing about me. This has nothing to do with patting on my shoulder. It just means that I'm seeing where the growth has been in my personal journey. So when I look at other people, it's reflecting back at me things that I still need to learn about me. So people go to gurus because they see something on them. What is it that they see? Is it something they want? Is it something they desire? Because generally, if it is something that they're desiring, it means that's part of them that hasn't been revealed to them yet. So there are some wonderful gurus out there that speak wonderful things. And a heart is inclined for those messages. But what it's saying is that is what you're wanting to discover about yourself that's already there. You just don't know it yet. I hope that makes sense. Anything that we're desiring on the outside, when we see a reflection and we don't feel like it's manifest, it's in there. It's waiting for you to find it. That's why we go on the treasure hunt. That's why we go dig out the sacred writings. At least that's why I want to. I'm trying to know myself. Because what I'm finding is that as soon as I know myself, I know you, because we are one. That's what it's for. To know you. So we know each other as one. So as I'm working on me and you're working on your own, it's so we can see each other more clearly. As soon as you see yourself clearly, you can see everyone else clearly. If you can't see yourself clearly, you are going to be confused by everyone else, because the confusion, the waters of chaos is on the inside of you. As soon as you deal with that, everything else is right. So I hope that makes sense. I don't have anything more to say. I would love to take the time to go into the Peshitta New Testament, because the verse that I wanted to share with you was in Romans 12:19. And I am telling you, it is packed full of stuff. So maybe Brandon and I will get to it tomorrow. I don't know. I know that we want to talk about the fall tomorrow. And I'm sure there's a lot more, because he's had an amazing week himself with his QAHT session. And we really want the Spirit to lead. So again, tomorrow, Brandon's meeting only at 10:30. I'm not doing a Zoom session. Need to take the time to regroup with my husband and us just have our time to share and consider how I'm going to continue doing these Zoom sessions, because I really want to focus on getting ready for the gathering in Crestone, Colorado, for those that want to come. And I know we need to figure that out ASAP, because Lou is trying to help us coordinate some lodging, and we don't know how many people are going to come. But any rate, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section after this video is over. If I didn't address anything and maybe you put a question in and I didn't see it, leave your questions and I'll do my best to be able to share this with you. And I look forward to going over this verse in the New Testament with you as soon as I can. Or maybe I'll just go into teachings to teach you how you can bring your own manna to the table. And then we can have sessions where I hear from you and the manna that you're bringing to share at the banqueting table. I mean, really think about the amazing potluck we have. And think about it. We don't have to worry about what kitchens are looking like and what kind of food we're putting together. And if you're keto or if you're vegan or if you're vegetarian or you have food allergies and you have to be gluten-free, right? Because this manna that we're bringing to the banqueting table is suitable for all people. All shapes and sizes can eat of this manna. It makes no difference. And I would love to come to the banqueting table with my manna and you bring yours, and then we have a discussion. You know, and it could be on the same verse. What are you seeing on this verse? And we can start doing it one word at a time. Let's take one verse and take this word and what do you see? That's what I want to go towards. I don't want to be hindering the movement by me telling you my interpretation, because that's for me. If it blesses you, fantastic. That would be the whole reason why I'm sharing, so that we can help shift our mind and change our mind and have the fresh manna of what is being shared. But it's my interpretation. And for some people, that's scary. What do you mean there's multiple interpretations? Of course there's multiple interpretations. Why wouldn't there be? What? Why would we call it a living language when we continue to change as we live, right? Shapes and sizes. You're born as an infant and then you grow up to the height that you are. And some of us get a little wider, some of us get a little skinnier, some of us do the yo yo thing, which I do the yo yo thing, by the way. And then we change. Personalities change. Before you have kids, after you have kids, before you're married, after you're married. Then you go through a divorce or not. Multiple marriages, multiple divorces. Where you move, what happens in your family, the pain and the suffering, the growing and the maturing. So, why wouldn't the living language begin to evolve with you? If that's part of living, it's going to show you what you need. And it's going to look different for everyone else. Because the one thing that's inevitable is change. So I can't say ever, this is the concrete definition of the words. This is the concrete definition or the meaning of the interpretation of that verse. Every single one of us are going to see it differently. And there's no wrong way to interpret it. Zero. So I'm not even really blaming the way that they interpreted the Bible before. But yes, it is yesterday's manna. It's up to you to see what it's saying to you today. Go deep. Dig deep. It's time for us to get that light in so we can deal with our shadow and get healing and bring shalom. Be of the name of the living fire and the living water, connected in our heart level, where the teachings are instructing us from the inside out. It's not from the outside in. Outside in is mother's teaching. Inside out is father's teaching. You need both. And again, if you stay in mother's teaching, you're still going to have a lot of wrestling and chaos. You will have learned to treat people the way you want to, but you're still going to wrestle because you're still going to see duality and you're going to always be judging and comparing. I don't want to do that anymore. I've seen the futility in all of that. We all have. We all have. There's nothing new under the sun. Today's fight that we see externally is what yesterday's fight was. I want today's victory. That's what I'm searching for. And it's on the inside. That's what I'm looking for. The outside will take care of itself. It's up to us to work on the inside out. And then we can bring everything together and manifest it externally together because we've done our own work. And yeah, unconditional love. That's what we're rooting for. That's what we're wanting. That's what we're cheerleaders for. Because those who begin to discover that on the inside, once you discover it on the inside, your outside will never be the same. And thank God for that. So I don't have anything else to say. Please join. There's only going to be one meeting tomorrow. Brandon and I will be joining at 10:30. I've already put that link out. You can find it on our Facebook pages. It's on Brandon's page, Brandon Dodd and Carrie Husband. There's a link on it as a get-to reminder. We will be broadcasting it both on YouTube and Facebook at the same time, and we can actually see the comments that are coming from both sides. So whether you're from Facebook or YouTube, we'll be able to see both. So please feel free to leave comments, interact. If you have questions, you can put it all in caps. If you just want to listen, that's fine. But I love to see who's joining us. I can see the numbers of eyeballs that are viewing it, but I can't ever tell who's here. And I love to just see. So anyway, I hope this finds you well, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 10:30. And then may we just be blessed with the rest of our day today, full of love, light, and love. Love, light, and love. I like that. That's a double measure of love. Love, light, love. Mother and father love you, and I say I love you too. And may more light come in and illuminate us so that we can heal our shadow and bring it back home. Home is where the heart is. See you guys tomorrow. Shalom, shalom, and namaste.